Good morning. The quote is the one person I am with forever is me. My relationship with myself is eternal, so I choose to be my own best friend. I choose to love and accept myself and talk to myself as I would to a beloved person in my life. I saturate all the cells in my body with love and they become vibrantly healthy. I relate with love to all of life. And that is the spectacular Louise Hay. Um, so we want to talk today about being your own best friend and what that looks like. And it's multiple things. It's showing up for yourself. It's the self-talk that we do. It's the I'm even going to say this, the boundaries for ourselves, because I feel like that one could be incorporated into this as we go. So it's a lot of things for our our journey to our best self.
Yeah, I love how you just worded that, our journey to our best self. It's so true. Deb and I actually were talking about this the other day. Just like, what are our next topics going to be? Because we never really know until we're here. And I was like, what led up to, we were talking about mantras. And I was like, I added one and it is, I am my own best friend.
Yeah.
And I'd actually had a conversation with somebody who was wanting to get set up in my boot camp. And she was like, I'm just stuck at this all or nothing place. And like, I just keep telling myself I'm going to show up and I'm waiting for this motivation. And then I wake up in the morning and it's not there. And I tell myself, it's okay. I'll just start next week. And I was like, we are our own best friend. And I want you to think about it in this kind of way. I was like, if your best friend asks you to be there, would you just not show up and be like, sorry, I'll try again? Like, no, that is what we're doing to ourselves. And we have to stop. We have to stop putting ourselves on the back burner and treating ourselves like we don't freaking matter, because we do. When we tell ourselves we're going to be there, you better find whatever you have to find to get yourself out of bed, out of the space that you're in, and show up for your damn self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looks different for everybody, right? Because like we were talking about boundaries and moving our bodies and what that can look like too, because sometimes when you come from this place of almost like OCD perfectionism, which is definitely something I don't want a part of my life at all, because like what is perfect? I don't even know. I can't even define. I mean, I could give you like the definition if I googled it, but everybody's perfect is going to be from their own perspective, and I have no idea what my perspective of perfect is. I just knew that I was striving for it. And so
Yeah.
that's the all or nothing
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's like because you give up on yourself because you're just like, well, I can't be perfect and I don't know why I'm even trying, but I've got to get there. And you're like, well, where are you going? And they're like, I don't know. I just
And then
I'm
this,
going and I should be
yeah.
perfect while I do.
Yes. And then this negative self-talk comes in. And that is the other part of like, if you will not say it to your brother, sister, daughter, mother, best friend, you better not say it to yourself.
Well, have you seen there's been so many, I guess maybe call them social experiments, where they've done that, where like they've talked well, this one in particular I'm thinking of, it was a bunch of young women and they were saying all the things that they felt about themselves, um, didn't realize that their siblings were behind the scenes and could hear everything that they were
Oh,
saying. And it was really beautiful. I'm actually getting goosebumps right now.
I do. I have them. Just thinking
Yeah.
about the power behind that.
Oh, the power of words.
Oh,
And the siblings would come out, and one of them was a twin. And like this, the twin that was saying all these horrible things about themselves, they were also comparing themselves to their twin. And the twin came out and like I mean, and in all of these situations with all of these people and their siblings were like, you're my hero, I look up to you, because a lot of times it was the older sibling that was kind of like paving the way, but experiencing, obviously, I mean, we all have at some time experienced severe self, um like deprecation or self-talk. And
Mhm.
they came in and they expressed the beauty that the greatness that they saw in that other person, and it just like brings tears to your eyes because the things that we say are so harsh. And even when you're looking at the person, everything is a perspective, right? So you're looking at this person, you're like, how did they feel that way? But like, how could you? But then you go around, you turn around and
Yeah,
you say something like that to yourself.
yeah, and I think the other thing is, like, we both have daughters, and as moms, if we're not showing up for ourselves and we're not talking positively to ourselves, our daughters hear those things and they watch those things. And I'm just going to share this really quickly because I think it's so amazing. And I shared it with the book club girls, but
Mhm.
the way that we show up for ourselves completely sets up our daughters for how they show up for themselves. And I grew up with horrible body image issues, always wanting to be skinny, always thinking that I was fat, that my thighs shouldn't touch, all of these things because my mom really struggled. And I watched that and I walked in her footsteps and I struggled with those things. And I made a promise that I would not raise my daughter the same way. And we work a ton on self love, on showing up for ourselves and the way we feel about our bodies. And I'm growing so much away from those struggles and those past stories and really working on loving myself and showing my daughter that she can love herself too. And she had sketched this little picture, and it was two women like looking at them with their backs to us. And they were in these like little bikini thongs, and there was this really skinny one with like the teeniest little bum and then like a bigger body. And she had written, small or big, all in capitals, bodies are beautiful. And my heart just melted because I was like, this is because I've kept those promises to myself and I'm showing up for me. And she sees that, and we're an example. We're an example to all of the people around us. And if we're not showing up for ourselves, guess what? We are giving everybody else permission to just not show up for themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, that also gave me goosebumps like that. It's just amazing how something so simple has such a powerful, like you're just telling a story about something that happened, and that I could feel it. Like it's an energy. It's like a transference of beautiful, beautiful energy. It actually makes me want to cry a little bit.
I'm feeling it a little. We can't even hide that because
No,
now we're YouTubing it now.
well, because
Ugh.
it's amazing because there's moments, and I'm gonna veer off the road for 1 second, and then we're gonna get back to it. But there's moments, and we've talked about this, where as a parent, you're just like, am I doing this right? Am I showing up enough? Am I teaching them the things that I'm learning and that I want them to know so that they can go out and they can be the best people that they can possibly be when they hit, their teen years and into their adult years, right? And that's the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, like, I think you feel that so much too, is because you have a daughter. And I'm like, okay, this is what I've been working at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's huge because as women, we've been, you've got your number of years that you are under your belt, watching things, seeing magazines, seeing TV. There's like a certain amount of like media that's just pumped into our lives of like what
Yes.
women should look like, right?
Mhm.
So, and that also feeds into the self-talk too, because we think that things should be a certain way. We've been fed it our whole lives by media, by culture, by whatever it is, and because of our gender. And then we and men, it's no
I was,
different for
yeah,
men than it is for women. It's just this,
yes.
I mean, it is different, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
different way that they need to look, right?
And so I just wanted to share, like, thinking of you saying that, going into like the men that are in our life, I have friends and family members who struggled with that self image as well, seeing their family members, their friends, their parents struggle with it. And it affected them too as men.
Hmm.
And the self talk, the showing up for themselves is for everybody.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like as a breakthrough coach, when I hear people's belief systems, because you get pretty, you get open, you get vulnerable, about, the belief. So it's really nice to have that trust, that they have for me, that I'm not gonna, I don't like laugh or anything, but so it crushes me. I literally have started crying with,
Mhm.
the people, because it hurts. It's like it's painful, it's deep, and it's very present, and those are the moments when you those belief systems are the ones where, when you don't really know why you do something, but it's very ingrained in your pattern, and you're like, I just don't know why I feel this way. Like, a
Mhm.
friend came over, she's been acing her tests, in her school, like 95 or 94%, somewhere in there,
Yeah.
not getting 100, and she's beating herself up. And she's like, I
Oh,
can't succeed. 94% is not success. And she's like,
right.
I just don't know why, but it just doesn't feel like success. And I'm so hard on myself that I didn't get 100%. So we had this really amazing breakthrough. She found a lot of grace. She found a lot of forgiveness for herself and her family. Um, and she's like, I'm done. I'm moving on from that. Like, it was so beautiful, and I felt it so much. And yeah, and those are the belief systems, and that's where the self-talk gets really fed into, because we don't know that it's there, but it's
Mhm.
there, and it's like you're feeding it every day, right? So it's a
Yeah.
big thing. It's a big
And
thing.
it's hard to break that sometimes. And when we start practicing awareness and we realize the things that we're saying to ourselves and we can flip the script and be like, no, 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 like that's not okay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's taken me personally a very long time to become aware of those things
Mhm.
and to really pause and think about what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
it goes right back down to like, even if you have to find those little things that stop you and make you think, would I say this to my mom? Would I
Mhm.
say this to my daughter? Before you even think about saying it to yourself.
Yeah. Well, and there's something that I taught the kids when I was working as an EA at the school, that I was at, and it was, is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it helpful? And you could literally say the exact same things to yourself.
But
Is it
yeah,
necessary? Is it kind? Is it helpful? And if it isn't, don't say it. Just, it's a good general rule to just, it's, and a lot of, like kids and stuff, it's the goading, that they do with their siblings. It's like, okay, well, was that really necessary? That's like usually the first question, and it's usually not.
yeah. And
They
then you don't need to ask the following two.
Yeah, exactly. So you could say the
Yeah.
same thing. Oh, like, I'm 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 ugly, or it's like, okay, well, was that really necessary? Like, what
Hmm.
did that serve? Did that serve
Yeah.
you? No?
Yeah.
Okay, well, probably don't say
Yeah.
it, right?
And if you're feeling super down or you're frustrated about yourself or you're having a hard day or a bad day or whatever it is, that doesn't give you permission to speak negatively to yourself.
Mhm.
Those moments are the ones where you need to be speaking positively and lifting yourself up, not just pressing your face deeper into the dirt. Like,
Mm, yeah. I was just listening to something this morning. I'm trying to remember who it was by. But anyways, it was kind of talking about that, or just like, when, it was Russell Brand. That's what it was.
mm,
Just a real short clip of him, but he was talking about just like affirmations and stuff. And he had said, and I 100% am behind him on this, but when you have those moments of negativity, where you're going into negative self-talk, uh, or like, I'm never gonna be debt free, like, just these
mhm,
really powerful words that we use to create our realities, and they're negative. And he just said those are the moments where you dig in with uh the super super positive affirmations, mantras, whatever you want to label them as, and
mhm,
just keep pushing it in, because those are the time it's not the time it's never the times where you're like super happy and you're like, yes,
mhm,
I like feel so
yeah,
good about life, and then you're gonna say something, You don't need to. You're
Yeah.
feeling really good. It's the moments where you're feeling broken, where you're feeling stress, where you're feeling
Mhm.
anxiety. Those are the moments you dig into. You don't dig into the
Yeah.
stuff that feels good.
Yeah, totally, totally. And that's where, like, we had our episode where we talked about mantras. Those are the things when you're, like, feeling that negative self-talk coming in and you're feeling super down, like, that is when you repeat those.
Hmm.
That's where you use those and you pull yourself out of that place that you're in, because it can be super easy to just get stuck there and lost there. And then we have these victim pity parties where we just want everybody to feel what we're feeling and listen to us complain about all of the things that are going wrong in life. And that's just human nature. We do that. We're allowed to complain about things. We're allowed to feel stuck, but we're not allowed to stay there.
Hmm. Well, and I just had another thought go through my head, and it might have been in The Secret. Just trying to remember here, but our brains are actually trained. Like you wonder why your brain, say you have one negative thought, and let's just use money because money's easy. Like money's the one thing that a lot of people freak out about, right?
Yeah.
So money's easy. Um, you have that thought like I I'm always broke. I'm always broke. I never have enough money to go around. There's so many belief systems behind money. So you start with that. And guess what? Your brain is literally trained. It's like, oh, we're on that path. Okay, here's some more. And it'll stack it. It'll just stack it. So that's why it's really important when you're going into that negative mindset, when you have that first triggered thought of negativity about money. It's so important. The first step is becoming aware. The first step.
Mhm.
That's the very first step. And it's a beautiful step. It's like such a good direction to be headed in, opposed to just not aware, just unconscious to the thought. And that's just the way life is, right? So becoming aware and then flipping the script and saying, okay, but this is a choice to feel this way. Yes, this might be my reality in this moment because maybe that's where you're at. And that does feel like your reality. But you get to choose to say this mantra because this is where you want to be. And this might be
Mm.
where you are, but this is where you want to be. So, in order to flip it and flip the script, you need to start somewhere, being aware, saying your mantra. And that could just be like my mantra for money is money comes easily, freely, and frequently to me. It's
Yeah.
that simple. I say it and I say it again and I'll say it again until I have lost that train of thought.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I found myself doing that the other day, sitting down like, okay, we have these bills coming up and we have this. And then yesterday I drove to get the kids from school and I picked up a screw in my tire and I was like, oh, well, like that's going to cost me. And I caught myself and I was like, but money continuously and freely flows into me.
Hmm.
And I just said it and I just feel it when I say that. And if you like feel your mantra,
Hmm.
that is amazing.
Hmm.
Like, so amazing, and it just feels so good that I'm like, "Yes. Yes, it does," and that's where I'm going, and it's just gonna keep flowing into my life, and it makes me super excited because I don't wanna be in that old thought pattern anymore. That's a silly place to be.
It is. And it's worn out.
Yeah.
Time for change, right?
And how magical does it feel when you start seeing those things coming to pass?
Hmm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Money's yeah. Oh man, I could just go on about money. I
I know,
will.
right? We could just move into a whole new topic.
Yeah. I will not focus on that. Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, that's a really. I mean, that felt like a really good big topic about a lot of self talk, but just about just yeah, loving yourself the way
Yeah.
you love your loved people, like whatever that
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah.
So
And
we hope you guys,
honoring what you need.
yeah, and we hope you guys could get some really valuable information out of our conversation because we have fun doing it. So
Absolutely. All right. Our affirmation for today. And when I give you these affirmations, I really actually want you to repeat them. Even if you don't believe it, even if you don't feel it, there's this crazy little thing that just like flips in our brain when we speak those things out. So, our affirmation for today is I value myself and I am my own best friend.
and you are mine.